Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Finnish ebook before it's gone. You want to learn and speak the language, and you know that you need to learn more words so you can speak more, but memorizing words is boring and painful work. But what if you could skip that hard work and quickly review words in minutes a day, and actually remember them in the long run? Keep watching. In this guide, you'll discover all about spaced repetition learning and how it makes remembering easy, how to use the spaced repetition flashcards inside our system, and how to customize your learning with the flashcards. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system, so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. But first, what are spaced repetition learning and spaced repetition flashcards? First, we need to define spaced repetition learning. Spaced repetition is where your learning gets spaced out over time, where if you learn a new phrase today, you take a break and come back on another day to review it, then again in a few days, and so on. Why? First, you need repetition to learn anything. And second, your brain remembers better if you come back after periods of time, because if you tried to cram all at once, you'd never remember anything in the long run. Spaced repetition helps you remember in the long run, and it's backed by science. And spaced repetition flashcards apply that spaced repetition method to help you learn the language and remember it for good. Okay, so let's take a look at how to use the spaced repetition flashcards inside our system. First, where do you find them? So to find these spaced repetition flashcards, you can go to the vocabulary drop-down menu from any page on the website and click on flashcards right here. So when you click on this, you'll find a menu appear. And inside the menu, you'll find all of your flashcard decks available. So in this case, we have a few on this page, but you'll see basically any deck that you've already created. So that could be like a core word list. So you might have access to like the 2000 core word list, and you might have a flashcard deck made for that. Great. You might have some specific flashcard decks that you yourself have created. That's also great. But for today, I want to take a look at this one, this core 100 word deck. Everybody has access to this one. So if you are a free member, if you're a paid member, doesn't matter. You'll be able to access these 100 core words for the language you're studying. So you'll see a little bit of information on the first part of this deck right here on this kind of cover page here. And then to begin your study session, you can click on the Study button. So when you do this, you'll get a little bit more information about what you're about to study so that you know that you're not going to study forever. And you're going to see in this example I'm about to show you that depending on the settings that you have, which we'll talk about a little bit later, you'll get some different information to help you remember the vocabulary that you're working on. So for now, let's just click Start Session and we can take a look at what is in front of us. So first we have 9, the word 9. So this is obviously the definition of something. So 9 is as in the number 9, the number that comes after 8 and before 10. So when you think you have it correct inside your mind, or maybe you say it out loud, you can click on Show Answer. Once you do this, it will give you the answer. It will give you some information. It will give you like an example sentence, and you have the option, depending on your settings again, to click Incorrect or Correct. This part is really, really important. If you got it incorrect, make sure that you click the Incorrect button. If you got it correct, great, you can click that. So for this, we'll click Correct. Let's take a look at this next one. So lamb is the next one here. A lamb is a baby sheep. That's one way to understand this. So I'll click on Show Answer. But in this case, let's say I got it incorrect, right? Let's say I didn't recognize the vocabulary word lamb. That's okay. So I would click on Incorrect here. And we just go on to the next word. So it's not like there's a penalty when you mark something as correct or incorrect. Rather, when you mark something as correct or incorrect, you are telling the spaced repetition flashcard system, this word is okay for me, or this word is not okay for me. So when you're marking something as incorrect, it's telling the system, I need to study that more. So that's a way for the system to know, okay, I should show you this vocabulary word some more. Okay, so let's take a look at one more, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the different settings and other features that you can use to make sure that you get the most out of these flashcards. So this is the second month of the year, another definition that we have. We show the answer. I think it's probably February here. So we show the answer, February, second month of the year. Great, I'm correct, so I'll mark it as correct. Okay, so let's take a look now. I'll end this session here, but ideally you'll finish all of the vocabulary words in each session when you begin. But for now, I want to talk a little bit about the different settings that you can use to make sure that you get the most out of these flashcards. So as I said before, these flashcard decks that are on the screen right now are unique to this account that we are using to create this video. But you can create your own flashcard decks, of course, and they will all appear here. Let's take a look, though, up here at the Settings button. You'll notice that there are a lot of different things that we can change here. First, I want to talk a bit about this card types section up here on the right. So we just practiced using like a definition for something and then saying the word that is associated with that definition, right? So this is one way that you can use the flashcards for your studies. But by toggling these, you can enable other types of study. So listening comprehension means you will hear the word and then you have to give the definition, or maybe the other side, like we just practiced with the actual definition. You might hear the definition and then have to give the word, and so on. So by toggling these different features, you can get different types of study for your vocabulary studies. So this is one part of kind of like the way that you can customize your studies. On the other side, however, we have these more general settings. So that means that if you want to like have an image show along with your flashcard, if you want to have the part of speech show or not show, that means if you want it to be clearly labeled as like a noun or a verb or whatever, you can enable or disable that here. Another really interesting feature that I want to talk about, though, is this answer interface section right here. So it says auto, scale, and buttons. So the feature that I just showed you, or rather the study method I just showed you, had an incorrect and a correct option, right? After you do your study session or after you study that one vocabulary word. But if you click on the scale option and save that, I'll also turn off listening comprehension just to go back to the original settings we had. This will enable a kind of spectrum for your answer. So if you feel like it was really, really hard, you can kind of mark that on the spectrum. So I want to show you what this looks like. So we'll go back to the same deck to study and take a look at that. So I'll start the session. And we'll do the same thing here. So here we have programmer, a noun, okay? So I can guess that I need to provide the definition in this case. So somebody who writes code for software and other computer applications. Okay, so I'll show the answer. So in this case, I got it correct. That's great. So, but you'll notice here down at the bottom, there's a scale now. Instead of just buttons, you can kind of mark how confident you were in your answer. So in this case, I feel very, very confident that my answer was correct. But in situations where you don't feel so confident, you can also do that. So I'll click up here at the top of correct for this one. I feel very confident about that. And go on to the next one, hand in this case. So hand, I'm guessing that probably means the part of the body. I'm guessing that this is probably not the verb to hand something because this is the core 100 word deck. And I'm guessing this is probably the body part. So we'll go to show answer. And again, it is the portion of the body starting from the wrists. Okay, great. But let's say that I made a mistake with this one, or let's say that I wasn't really so sure. I could mark that. I could click here anywhere on this spectrum to help the system understand my level of confidence about that vocabulary word. And by doing so, that tells the system how much I need to see that word or how little I need to see that word in the future. So this is how the system remembers your specific answers and thus knows which word to show you next and which words maybe you don't need to see so much coming up in the future. So this is a really, really good way to make sure that you're studying really efficiently. And then, when you need to study again in 5 days or in a week, in a month or whatever, that you're studying the things that are actually still challenging to you and you're not just reviewing things that you're already really, really familiar with and really comfortable with, but you're always making progress. So the spaced repetition flashcards are a really good way to do this. And if you combine this, say with, for example, example, like the 2000 core word list or a specific word list that you find on the website that you know you really want to practice, this can be a really great way to make sure that your study sessions are super efficient and that you get the most out of all of the tools that we have available for you. So if you want to speak more of your target language, you'll need to know more words and phrases. And the best way to learn and actually remember all the words is through spaced repetition flashcards. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. If you're learning the language, you're probably tired of having to look up new words as you're learning, especially when there's one word after the other, forcing you to stop, look it up, resume, only to stop again moments later. The good news is there is a pain-free way to look up words and boost your vocabulary. That is, if you're learning with our learning system. Today, you'll discover 1. All about the audio dictionary, 2. How to look up words without sidelining your learning, and 3. A few extra study tools that'll help you master words faster. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. Okay, so what is the audio dictionary? Let's take a look at what the audio dictionary is, how to access it, and what kinds of things you can do with it for your studies. So first, let's take a look at how we access this tool. So go to the vocabulary drop-down menu and click on the dictionary link. This is the first of 2 ways that you can access this. So if we go to the dictionary page, we'll find a search box. So here we can search for any vocabulary word we want to know more about. So let's say, for example, we want to search for the word autumn. We can enter that in the search box and we will get a list of results related to that keyword. So of course you will find the definition for that word and you will find the word here, and depending on the language you're studying, you will also find a transliteration of that word. So how is that word written in your language? Okay? And then you'll also have these 2 audio icons to the left of the word. So if you click on the top one, you will hear the native pronunciation of that word. So that's really great to use for pronunciation practice to make sure you sound as much like a native as possible. And if you click on the lower audio icon, you'll hear the word a little bit slower. So if you want to hear like all of those sounds at a kind of slower pace to help you work on making it perfect, that could be a great tool for you too. Lastly, there is this checkbox on the left side here. So if you click this for the vocabulary word you're interested in and go all the way down on the page to the end of the results, you will find this button that says Add Selected Words to Word Bank. So you can click on this and that vocabulary word or multiple vocabulary words will go to your word bank where you can reference them later and add them to your studies in different ways. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So this is what you can do with the audio dictionary. I want to really quickly then show you another feature about how to access this that can really help you to keep your studies kind of moving and flowing a little bit more smoothly. So the second way to access this dictionary tool is by hovering over the search icon in the top right corner of the page here. So it pops up with this bar that says search lessons or dictionary. So you can type in any vocabulary word here, and this will work on any page of the website. So if you're studying a vocabulary list, or if you're in the middle of a lesson, for example, or maybe you're just using your textbook or you're watching a YouTube video or something like that, you can just mouse over right here and type in any word that you want to look up from the dictionary right from here. So you don't have to go to a different page and forget what you're doing, nothing like that. You don't have to stop your studies to do this. So if, for example, we want to search for the word dinner, we find the dictionary results that pop up, in this case, on the right side here, and we have a few different results to look at. So we can go, if we want more information or to check the pronunciation, we can go and click on that result, and it will take us back to the dictionary page for that keyword. So again, we can add that to our word bank here if we want to by doing exactly as we did earlier, checking the word and going to the Add Selected Words to Word Bank button. Okay? So once we have done that, how can we use these words to study? Let's take a look. So if we go to the vocabulary drop-down menu and we click on Word Bank, we will see all of the words that are currently in our word bank. So depending on what you want to do and depending on how you like to study, you can do a number of different things here. So you can add these words to a flashcard deck if you want. You could play the words as a slideshow if you want to do that. You can export some words as a PDF to use for maybe writing studies or reading studies later. So there are a number of different tools that you can do from the word bank right here. So make sure to check this out. Make sure to check out the dictionary tool. Make sure to check out the word bank and look at how you can be building like your own vocabulary words and making sure that you have your own kind of like organic vocabulary list that you have discovered for yourself. You can do all kinds of different things with this tool right here. And fun fact, this is totally free for all users. So if you have an account with us, make sure that you're using this tool so that you get the most out of your studies. So if you're tired of having to look up new words while you're in the middle of a lesson, use the audio dictionary on the site. And all you need is a free lifetime account to access this study tool. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. What's the best way to speak and understand more of the language? Simple. Learn more words. But with all the words in your target language, where do you even start? And if you're a beginner, which words should you learn first? You're about to find out. In this guide, you'll learn 1. All about our 2,000 most common words list, 2. How to start building your vocabulary, and 3. How to learn even faster with special study tools. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So, let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. So what is the 2,000 core word list? Let's take a look at this. The 2,000 core word list is a premium feature on the website. You can access this word list by going to the vocabulary drop-down menu at the top of the page and clicking on 2,000 most common words. That will bring you to this page here, in this case, the English Core 2,000 word list. So the reason that this word list is really helpful is because these are the 2,000 most commonly used words in the language. That means they're the most frequently used words, which means they're also the ones you're going to need the most. So these are words that are related to like daily life activities, to food, drink, travel, your relationships, and so on. So if you want a place to start your studies, this can be a very, very nice place to begin because you're learning words you are going to use right away. So I want to talk a little bit about the different ways that we can use this 2,000 core word list to hopefully make your studies a little bit more efficient. So first I want to talk about the category function with this word list. So if you look at this box right here, it says category all right now. If you click on this, you will see a bunch of different categories appear. So if you click on one of these, like let's say business, for example, you will find all of the words in this word list that are related to business. In this case, negotiation, contract, business, deal. So you will find all of the words about a specific category inside the category list. So we can go down maybe to clothing and accessories as well. And if you click on that category, you will see all of the words related to clothing. So if you want to study based on a specific category, you can do that with the category tool in this drop-down menu here. So that is one really, really useful way if you know that you need to study a specific thing first. Okay, so that's one really good feature. The second feature that I want to talk about relates to these 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on links at the top of the page. So if we click on these links, we will see lists like this. So this is the English Core 100 word list in this case. So the 100 core word list has broken down that 2,000 core word list into the 100 most common words. So if you want to start with the words that are the most common of the most common used, then you can start with the 100 word list and then go on to 200, 300, and so on. So this core word list will give you the ones that are the most frequent in the language. So like the top top words that you need to know. In this case, week, year, today, tomorrow, and so on. So if you want to start with your vocabulary studies and you have no idea where to begin, this is a great place to start yourself. So within this core word list, let's take a look now at some of the different things that we can do and some of the different features related to the specific vocabulary words and phrases here. So let's break down first what's happening with the individual vocabulary words. So let's take a look at this box right here. In this case, we have our vocabulary word, which is week. We have the part of speech listed next to it. This is a noun. We have the definition below that here. We have a picture, and this audio icon right here, if we click this, this will give the pronunciation of the vocabulary word. So if you're not sure how to say a vocabulary word, just click this icon and you will hear the pronunciation, so you can listen to that and practice the correct way to say the word. On the right, you'll also see some examples, some example phrases and some example sentences. In this case, this week, and again, we can listen to the pronunciation to practice that, and we can also access some more examples. So now that we know all of the different parts for each vocabulary word or phrase, I want to talk about the different tools that you can use to study these things. So first, I want to talk about the slideshow tool. We can access this. Up here on the right, there is a view slideshow link. So if we click this, it will bring up the slideshow tool, the vocabulary slideshow tool, which will give us all of the vocabulary words in the list we're looking at right now, and it will go through each of the vocabulary words or expressions, and it will show them to you so you can just look at them, and then you can process the information, do whatever you'd like to do with that. We have a few different things we can select here on this page. We can choose to play the sample sentence audio if we want or not. We can uncheck this too. We can also choose to loop playback or not, which means the words and expressions will continue to play. So let's leave those on for now and click Start Slideshow. So if we do this, we will see the vocabulary words displayed with the definition, we'll see the example, the picture, and so on. So you can change the speed of this slideshow with the tools down here. You can pause if you want to, if this is going pretty quick. This one is going pretty quick. You can go to the next one, you can go to the previous one. You can change the speed with the slow and fast buttons, and you can also adjust the loop settings here. So the vocabulary slideshow is one tool that you can use if you want to just look at all of the words in a given list. So you can control everything from this view slideshow link up here on the top right. So this is feature number one I want to talk about. The second one I want to talk about, the second feature, is the word bank tool. So the word bank, first, what is the word bank? If we go to the vocabulary drop-down menu at the top, we can find this word bank link right here inside. So click on word bank, and this will give you a big list of words that you have selected for whatever purpose. Maybe you want to make a specific group for some reason, or you just need a list of interesting words or whatever. Many people have different uses for the word bank. It's up to you. But if you want to use this word bank tool, just kind of a place to store things or a place to maybe work on something specific at that moment, you can use the word bank and you can access it here. And you can also add words to that word bank from these core word lists. So there are a couple of ways to do this. You can do this first by clicking on a word that you want to add, let's say week here. We click on this checkbox to the left of the word and go up here to add selected words. In the top right, click on this and select word bank. This will add the word to your word bank, and it will tell you one selected word was added to your word bank. So you can do that here and click OK. If you want to, you can also do this on the individual word by clicking on this little plus mark to the right of the word, and it will pop up here as well, word bank too. You can do this with multiple words. So if I want to select these three, for example, I can select them and just click Add Selected Words again and send it to word bank. It will again tell me that those words were added to my word bank in this way. So this is one way that you can add vocabulary words to a specific list that you have created. Okay, so now I want to talk about the last item for today, which is flashcards. So how do we use this list to create flashcards? It's very similar to adding to the word bank, very easy. So again, let's use the word week here, and then we'll add selected words again, but in this case, we're going to look at this flashcard deck submenu. So under the flashcard deck submenu, you will see any decks that you currently have on your account, and you can choose to send your new vocabulary word to any of these decks, or you can create a new deck. So I'll create a new deck that's called like Alicia's new deck. For example, click OK, and my vocabulary word will go to my new study deck, my new flashcard deck. We can see it here, Alicia's new deck. So I could click study, and we would go immediately to that new vocabulary deck that I created. So we can do this in this way to add specific words to a specific deck. We can also click this plus mark and choose that same deck from this plus mark on the right side too. So those are the same two ways that we used to add words to the word bank. So we can add multiple words by clicking on the check boxes to the left of each vocabulary word and clicking Add Selected Words and just choosing the study deck in this way. So if you want to use the flashcards, you can do it very, very simply, very easily, and you can create new decks very easily as well. If you want to add all of the words in the list to either your word bank or to your flashcards, you can do that with this Add All Words link up here at the top. So you can select word bank or you can select a flashcard deck. If you don't want to select any words, you just want to add all of them to a specific study section, you can do that with this Add All Words link up here at the top. So these are a few different ways that you can use the core word list. So that means that you will get all of the words that you need for conversational fluency. It will help you to make sure that you're choosing the words that are actually used a lot. So you're not, using time to study words that aren't so common or to study words that maybe you already know really well. You can specifically choose the ones that you know you need to review. So these are 3 super great tools that you can use. You don't have to worry about memorizing everything all at once. You can just use the spaced repetition tools that we have available on our websites. And if it seems like a lot, you can absolutely just start with the core 100 word list to begin, which is free. But all of the other tools that we've talked about in this video are premium tools, so make sure to check them out. So, if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. If you're learning a language, you're constantly coming across new words and forgetting them right after, which is too bad because your language would have been so much better if you could hold on to those words and remember them. Now, you could write them down, or if you're learning with our system, you can just save them to your extended brain, the word bank, with just one click. And in this video, you'll discover 1. All about the word bank, 2. How to save keywords and phrases, and 3. Easy ways to review the words so that you never forget them. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. Okay, so let's get into it. What is the word bank? The word bank is a premium study tool that you can use so that you have a really, really easy way to collect all of the new words and phrases and sentences that you pick up in your studies. So you can think of it kind of like an extension to your brain. So you can use this to help make sure that you review the words and expressions that you actually need to review. You can keep words that are interesting to you here, whatever it is you want to do with it. It's a very flexible tool. So first, let's take a look at where we find this tool, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how we can use it and some different kinds of study resources that you can get from this one thing. So first, where do we find the word bank? If you click on the vocabulary menu or just hover over vocabulary menu and then click on word bank, you can find the word bank page. Also, if you are using the app, you can find the link for this in the dashboard too. So this will give you the word bank page. So on the word bank page, you have a few bits of information about each of the things that are there. You've got some audio icons that you can press. You've got the word, the part of speech, the definition, the meaning of the word. Depending on the language, you will also have the translation, and you will also have at the end of the row this thing that says 3 lessons or 6 lessons or 5 lessons or whatever. So if you click on this, you will see all of the lessons that are related to that word, which is really, really helpful if you want to see like other ways that that word is used, or if you want some more example sentences and so on. So that's a really, really handy little tool. So let's talk about how words get into the word bank. There are 2 ways I want to talk about. First is for those of you who make a point to like study every day or a few times a week or whatever it is. If you take the lessons from your dashboard, like let's say we'll take this lesson here. If you take your lesson like every day or every week or something like that, you'll maybe have noticed that there is a vocabulary section in your lesson. So if you go to the vocabulary section and you pick a few things that you know you want to practice, like let's say you have a couple of expressions that you need to work on your pronunciation, or maybe they're just difficult for you to remember, or you thought they were interesting, whatever the reason is, you can select those words with this checkbox that's on the left of that section right there, the vocabulary section, and click Add to Word Bank. So once you do this, you'll get a message that says the words were added successfully, and the words are now in your word bank. Great. That is one way that you can add words to your word bank. The other way I want to talk about today, let's say you are using one of the vocabulary lists on our website for your studies. So if you go to the vocabulary drop-down menu, and we'll just choose like the 100 most common word lists for today, but you can do the same thing with any of the vocabulary lists on our website. You can find the same checkbox that's on the left of all of the vocabulary words here. So you can choose a few words and add them to your word bank. So let's say that I want to add, this word, laugh and make in this case. And so once you have these chosen, you can, from the top of the page or from this section that comes down if you're on the computer version, you can add all words to the word bank. If I click this, it says add all words. I can choose the word bank, which will add all of the words in the list, or I can click on add selected words. So that's just the words I have selected and add those to my word bank. So I'll do that now, and I'll get a message that says they are there now. Great. Okay, so these are the two really easy ways that you can add things to your word bank. Let's go back to the word bank now and talk about some of the different features and kind of functionality here. So of course, if you just want to have like a quick glance at the words that you've added to your word bank, you can do that really easily here. If you want to do, practice with the audio files, if you want to practice your pronunciation at different speeds, great, you can do all of that here. You can just read through the list if you want to do that, fine. But I want to talk about some other things that you can do from this page. So the first thing I want to talk about is making a flashcard deck from your word bank. So if I just don't have no words selected here now, if I want to click this right now, sync to flashcards, nothing will happen. So in order to create a flashcard deck from my word bank, I need to select words. So if you've run into this problem, make sure you have selected words from your word bank. So you can select all of them with this checkbox up here at the top, or you can just select a few words like this and choose the ones that you want to study at that moment, and then click Sync to Flashcards. It will think for a minute, and then it will take you to your flashcard page. And then once this loads up, you'll see a My Word Bank flashcard deck. So this will have all of the flashcards that you have asked it to sync to this deck. So if you want to make flashcards in this way from your word bank, this is a super easy way to do it to make sure you're studying only the words that are like specific to you that you want to know right now. So this is one way that you can use your word bank and the study tools inside it. Okay, so let's go back to the word bank now. And I want to talk about this section right here. This section says labels. So we don't have any in this case, but what you can do with the words in your word bank is assign them different labels. So if you want to have a label that says like verbs or adjectives or something like that, or if you have like a specific hobby or a specific category of word, you can label those words so that you always are able to easily see which words belong to that group. So for example, if you want to study only the verbs in your word bank, you can choose only the verbs from your list and like sync them to a flashcard deck if you want to. So if you want to be like really super organized about your words in that way, you have that functionality from this page as well. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is for those of you who like to have something physical to use with your studies, like a worksheet kind of thing where you can actually write or maybe use a highlighter or use different colors, that kind of thing. You can also make a physical printout of this information with this button right here. If you go to the printer-friendly version and click this, you will get this kind of output. So it's a really super simple just list of all of the words and the information about those words that you can print out. And again, you can change this. You can put another one together next week and make a totally different word bank printout if you want to as well. So this is something that you can use to easily just get a printable version of your word bank. Then the last thing that I want to talk about is this export word bank button. If you want to get this word bank but in a different format, you can do that from this section. So if you click on Export Word Bank, you can choose to export it from PDF version. You can do it as a CSV. You can do it as XML. And if you have labels on your words, you can also choose to select those here as well. So there are a few different things that you can do with the word bank. So as you can see, hopefully you can see, that there are a lot of different things that you can do with just this one tool, and hopefully all of them are just, different ways that you can study those words and remember them for longer, and they're also really, really easy to integrate into your existing lesson flow. So if you're not using the word bank to help you remember interesting words or difficult words, or just things that you want to practice a little bit more, now you have some great ideas and you can get started right away. So if you're tired of forgetting all the new words you come across, take advantage of the word bank. It's your extended brain, where you can save all the words you come across and review them with a quick glance. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Want to speak more of your target language? Then you'll need to know more words and phrases. Except the problem is, memorizing word lists is painful and boring. But the good news is, you don't have to memorize for hours. You can glance through our printable visual flashcards and easily master over 1,500 of the most common words. And in this guide, you'll discover how to get free access to visual flashcards, why these flashcards help you acquire words faster than typical word lists or digital flashcards, and how to learn words fast with the flashcards. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. Okay, so what are visual flashcards? Our visual flashcards are printable, illustrated flashcards that teach you the 1,500 most common words across 60 topics. So if you're a member, you already have access. If not, now is your chance to get them for free for a limited time only. We'll close down access soon. So to access these flashcards, sign up for a free account and then go to this page and download these PDFs. So we'll click the Download Now button, and you will find when the download is ready, a big folder of all of the different flashcards that you can use. So open them up, and then we'll go to the folder where we can choose our topic. So in this case, I'll open this one about the lake. So when you open up your flashcards, you'll see a bunch of different images, yeah? And if they are upside down when you open up the file, don't be worried, that's normal and it's okay. So when you open up your flashcards, you'll choose the one that is the most interesting for you, and then make sure that you print them out in two-sided or double-sided format so that there's an image on both sides of the paper so that you can flip over the flashcard, right? So once they're all printed out, you can cut them out and then use them to start learning. So make sure you visit the link in the description to get access to all of these right now. Then next, I want to talk a little bit about how you can use these to learn words fast. But first, I want to talk about how people learn words. Most popularly, it's probably through cramming and memorization, right? But the best way to learn anything is not actually to cram. Rather, you should review the words for just a few minutes a day, every day. And that daily repetition is what locks the language into your memory, and you get used to the words like it's your own native language, right? So that's something that you can do with visual flashcards. You can print them out as physical cards, and you can easily go through them a few minutes a day. And also, if it's physical, it's much easier to reach for it and use it than an app that's just kind of somewhere in like the third screen of your iPhone, right? All of these flashcards also include an image for each word. So your brain can easily create a connection between the image and the word, and this helps you to remember it better instead of just relying on text all the time, which is the case with most digital flashcards and word lists. Okay, so after printing and cutting out your flashcards, there are a few different ways that you can use these visual flashcards to study. So one of the ways, of course, that you can do this is just to go through the flashcards and review them for a few minutes a day to refresh your memory. But I also want to talk a little bit about some different strategies that you can use with these cards so you get different types of practice. So one thing that you can do to get some speaking practice, of course, is to make sure that you read the word out loud. So don't just look at it and read read it in your mind, make sure that you read the word out loud so you actually say, in this case, bench and escalator and kiosk as you look at the picture that's on the visual flashcard. So this is one way that you can get some speaking practice. Another thing that you can do to make sure that you understand and you have good recall is to flip the cards over and take a look at just the picture and then try to remember the meaning. Try to recall the meaning and say it out loud. So that means without reading it, and of course, if you forget, you can flip it over to check. But again, you can do this to practice just your recall. So looking just at the picture, I think it's escalator, am I correct? Yes, great, okay. So if you get it wrong, of course, you can put it to the back of the stack and then try again so that you're giving yourself the opportunity to repeat those cards that were challenging for you, yeah? So again, you can just use the card, flip it over, and then get the answer that you need and then put it to the back of the stack. So these are a couple of different ways that you can use the cards to do speaking practice, to get some recall practice. And again, these are just ways that you can use the cards alone. You could also use the cards together with your friend. Have a friend test you if you want to as well. Another thing that you can do, depending on the card set that you're using, you can actually place these cards on the objects that they represent in your house. So for example, if you have a flashcard that's for something like your computer or for your refrigerator or something like that, you can put the flashcard on the object that it represents so that you always remember to practice that vocabulary word when you use that object or when you see that item. So these are a few different ways that you can make sure that you quickly memorize these words after seeing them a few times and getting used to practicing with them every day. So, if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Want to boost your vocabulary so you can speak more of the language? If you're a beginner, the best way is to focus only on a special set of words, the core words, and you'll see why in just a bit. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. What are core words? So imagine this. You're a beginner. You download a vocabulary app and it starts teaching you words like economics, xylophone, and zebra. If you're a beginner, these are not exactly useful words, right? Well, that's the exact opposite of what core words are. And that's just an example of how to learn vocab the wrong way. So if you see an app teaching you that, run far, far away. Core words are a special set of words all beginners should start with. They're words we use most in daily life. Words like I, you, yes, no, this, and that. And this is where you should start learning vocab as a beginner. The top 100 core words make up about 50% of everyday conversations. The top 200 core words cover 60 to 70%. If you go to 300, that's 80% of everyday conversations. So if you start with the core words first, instead of learning random words, you'll start understanding everyday conversations sooner than later. Even if you don't understand everything and you can only pick out a few words, you're on the right track. So how do you get started learning the core words? How to get the core 100 words. This part is for people that are using our learning system. With our system, you get the core 100 words for free. Just head to the vocabulary menu on our site and click on 100 most common words. And the way it works is you get all the words up front. Each word comes with a picture, the translation, audio pronunciation, and sample sentences so you can get a feel for it. And this is where you start. All the words are here. So if you're not a member, just sign up for a free lifetime account to get access. Now, how do you actually learn the words? You don't have to memorize them. There are easier ways. The easiest way to learn the core 100 words. The easiest way is with our audio slideshow tool, and it's also free for everyone. You'll find this tool right there with the core 100 words. Just click on View Slideshow, and the audio slideshow will play the words on loop for as long as you want it to, until the words are stuck in your brain. You can switch the translation audio on or off and play it in the background while you're doing something else. If there are certain words you want to focus on later, you can send them to your word bank to review later. You can also pop them into our spaced repetition flashcards to really master them. Just select all words, hit Add All Words, then choose your flashcard deck. But the audio slideshow is the easiest way because you can play the words on loop in the background until you know them in and out. And you can easily start understanding everyday conversations just by starting with the first 100 core words. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. What if there was a guaranteed way to learn new words fast? You'd speak way more of your target language, right? Well, such a way exists. It's called spaced repetition flashcards, and you'll see just what makes this method powerful in just a bit. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. What is spaced repetition? So first, let's talk about spaced repetition. What is it, and why is it so powerful for learning languages? First off, spaced repetition is exactly what it sounds like. It's learning that gets spaced out over time. Imagine this. You learn a new phrase today, and instead of trying to memorize for the next 20 minutes so you can remember it forever, you just walk away for the day. But then you come back tomorrow to review, then again 2 days later, then again 3 days later, and so on. So you're spacing out your learning. You learn, you take a break, you come back later. Why do it this way? There are two big reasons. First, you need repetition to learn anything. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you heard something once and it stuck forever? You'd be fluent by now if that worked. And second, your brain remembers better when you take breaks in between reviews. If you try to cram it all in at once, your brain has no time to process, and you forget everything as quickly as you learned it. But by spacing out your learning, you're giving your brain time to rest, process, and remember new words and phrases. So that's spaced repetition learning. And spaced repetition flashcards apply this spaced repetition method to help you learn the language and remember it for good. Instead of you having to remember when to review certain words, the flashcards do this for you and test you accordingly. How to use the spaced repetition flashcards inside our system. Now, let's talk about how to use our spaced repetition flashcards. You'll find the flashcards in the vocabulary drop-down menu on our site. There, you'll see the 100 must-know words deck waiting for you. That's a ready-made deck you can start with. But you can also make flashcard decks using words and phrases from our lessons, the 2000 core word list, words in your word bank, and our free vocabulary lists. So click Study and then Start Session to begin. Here's how it works. You'll see a word or phrase, and your job is to see if you know it or not. Click Show Answer to check. If you got it right, mark it as correct. If not, mark it as incorrect. You can even rate how well you knew it by clicking on the spectrum from correct to incorrect. You can also set it as mastered to never see it again. And here's where the flashcards put spaced repetition to work. They start sorting the words based on how well you know them. The words that you don't know will show up until you get them right. For the words you know, these will start getting spaced out. You'll see them in 2 days, then 5 days, then 13 days, and so on, so you don't forget them over time. When you're done with a session, that's it. Come back tomorrow. How to customize your learning with spaced repetition flashcards. The most common way to quiz yourself with flashcards is simple. You see the word in your target language and check if you know the meaning. But there are other ways to quiz yourself too. In the settings, you can choose from 3 modes. Listening. Hear the word and check if you understand it. Production. See the translation and try to recall the word in the target language. Recognition. See the word and check if you know its meaning. You can use 1, 2, or all 3 modes to learn even faster. So if you haven't tried learning with spaced repetition yet, give it a try. It's a guaranteed way to learn new words and remember them for good. And in the grand scheme, you'll learn much faster and spend less time on the actual vocab study. So if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Finnish ebook before it's gone.